Good morning. It was always going to happen. At some point, Ange Postecoglou would lose a match. The disappointing thing here is that as fans, we would have seen this as a good opportunity to progress in a competition that may lead to a final and may lead to an opportunity to win a trophy. So I totally understand the reaction, I guess, from certain elements of the supporters in terms of their disappointment that this opportunity has technically been thrown away. But at the same time as that, I think you kind of have to look at it pragmatically and from the manager's perspective as to what he is trying to do, what he is trying to understand. He's been here a couple of months, and I know people go, oh, he's been here a couple of months and he should have seen the history of these players and how they've let us down so continuously and da-da-da. And I get all that, right? But let's look at it. Let's look at it overall. Goalkeeper. You've got two goalkeepers, so you do tend to try to give the second backup goalkeeper an opportunity to play some games. Otherwise, how are they ever going to stay sharp or and that kind of thing? If there's no game time at all, how do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them on their toes and understanding it? And I'm not saying that Fraser is our, he's the greatest backup goalkeeper, but he does the job. He does the job. He gets on with it, and he's not let us down massively in the past. So I can understand that change, right? With Vicario, is new. He's finding his feet. He's getting developed. You don't want to give him another new centre-back pairing to kind of have to think about. And he's obviously got his first choice in his head of Romero and Van der Ven. That's going to be the two centre-backs. And Sanchez is obviously part of that. Now, Sanchez comes into the team and you go, well, okay, look, the guy's improved slightly under Postecoglou. He's kind of shown that he's winning, he's working hard, and he's trying, and it's most likely that he's going to be the one that stays. Dyer is obviously looking like he's out the door, so until you've got someone else in, then you've got to have that opportunity to play that player again. It's about making sure those players feel part of the squad, part of the team, and the manager needs to understand, can they do the job that I need them to do? Are they going to be able to fit in? Are they going to give me what I want? So again, I understand that. And you look at Davis, which I think is a bit of a strange one, because he hasn't played that type of left-back role. I personally don't understand the continued hate for Davis. I do think that he offers a lot more than people give him credit for a lot of the time. He makes mistakes, he's getting older, but he is versatile and he is committed. But I think the problem we've got is Ndoggy got an injury towards the end of the game, the last game against Bournemouth, and maybe it's a precaution. So again, there's some basis of that. So then you're coming into midfield, right? And Højbjerg gets a lot of hate, get it, but he tends to be the guy that is being brought in to shore up, be defensive, and hold on to leads. Skip has just come off the back of scoring 2 goals against Barcelona in a really good performance in pre-season. Again, needs game time, needs to be brought into the team and focused. Still a young guy. Solomon, I get it, coming back to his old club, and he is obviously going to be the player, the backup coming in on the right for Kulusevski. And then Perisic, who's been playing really well and parting and crossing really well over the last game, came in and made a big difference in the Bournemouth game. He started to be a bit better than he's been in the past. So again, I kind of get it. We're all saying, oh, these are backup players and they ain't no good. And there is, Perisic isn't a backup player. He is part of the squad. That seems obvious. The same with Skip, the same with Solomon. They all seem like they are players that we are expecting to stay and be part of the overall squad depth. And then if you pick out Lo Celso, people have been saying he's come in, he's been doing a great job, he's been working hard, and we shouldn't let him go. But when he's in the team, all of a sudden he's become this player that we don't trust, his backup, he should be gone. Now, me personally, and I said this when I was talking to some of the guys when I was watching the Bournemouth game, for me, I don't think Lo Celso is a player for us. I don't think he's suited to the Premier League. He's been with us a while and he hasn't really shown anything like his ability that he shows when he's in Spain or when he plays for Argentina. So for me, I think he's not necessarily a lost cause, but I don't think he's the player that he shows from time to time that he can be. So but at the same time, people have been calling out and saying that he's been playing well and so on. So from Postecoglou's point of view, he's got these players. He needs to use them. He needs to see these players play. He needs to see how they play. He needs to see how they react. He needs to see how they integrate into the overall squad and what they can provide. Now, should he have used all 9 of them in one foul swoop? Probably not. That's not a good plan, is it? And we've called it out so many times. Go with your stronger team, get ahead, get the game won, then bring in your other players to show that that they've got some game time and all the rest of it. But at the same time, you've also got to think about it from a player's perspective. They're sitting around, they want to play football, whilst they're earning loads and loads of money and all the rest of it. A lot of it, we've all played football, whether it be as a kid or as a youngster or whatever, and it's an addictive game, right? We really, really want to play it. We really want to think that we're great and all the rest of it. So these players are still just young men. They're early 20s, mid 20s. These are young guys, fit, athletic, professionals who want to play and win football matches. So he has to take that into consideration in terms of how do you keep those people motivated? How do you keep those people on your side and wanting to be part of your longer term project? And so for me, I think he probably had all these players in his mind and thought they would be good enough because from what he's seeing in training and all the rest of it. But again, I agree. Shouldn't have gone with all 9. That's a mistake, and I think he will need to learn from that and think about that going forward. Doesn't help us because it's another trophy out the window and we move on. But let's just remember that the game was 1-1. It went to penalties. 1 player missed, and so you're out. Fine margins. Should Sanchez have taken a penalty? Probably not. Did anybody else want to take the penalty in his place? I don't know. I didn't see the game. I listened to it on the radio. I was travelling back from Luton yesterday, so I was listening to it on the radio. And by all accounts, Fulham were the better side and probably deserved the win anyway. So overall, disappointing to be out, but I think you've got to get it in perspective. I don't think we should be overreacting. And this is going to be a long-term project. Postecoglou is not going to bring success in one foul swoop. There's loads of work to do. This squad needs work. It needs a revamp. It needs new faces. But at the same time, you can't just take every player out and replace them and it all go well. And you have to let players go to get players in to ensure that you've got the balance, because otherwise you're going to end up keeping players that you don't want that you need to do something with. So there is that balance that you kind of need to think about. I don't think it's as simple as us fans would like it to be. So that's the point I'm making. I think it's early days. Let's just give it time. Let's not lose our heads over it. Give Postecoglou the time to do what he needs to do. He's got to learn about our club. He's got to learn about our players. He's got to learn about our history. He's got to learn about how things pan out. And he's going to need time for that. So I think overall, let's accept it is what it is, as disappointing as that may be. But there is work to be done. And we cannot expect this to be done in 4 matches. There's time for that. The other thing I was just going to call out is, having listened to it on the radio, the fans were fantastic. So if you were at the game yesterday, fair play to you. Didn't stop singing. It was really loud and clear. The Postecoglou song, the Yarami song, all of that kind of stuff was getting called out, and I could hear it clearly. Daniel Levy, get out of a club. I could also hear that nice and loud when he's I think his picture come up or something they said on the radio. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, really good support. That the club doesn't deserve some of this the travelling support that they get. But listen, we're addicted. It's our club. We love them. We're going to keep going until it kills us. But that's what football's about, right? So just trying to put a bit more positive spin on it. Ultimately, you've got to give it time. And great to see, I forgot to mention, but great to see that Richarlison got his first goal. Very well taken. And hopefully that leads to some floodgates opening and the guy builds some confidence and really pushes on, because we really need him to. But as I say, loads and loads to do, but let's not lose our heads, guys. Don't give up yet. It's time. Calm, breathe in. It's only a game. I'll leave it there. Up the Spurs. Keep the faith.